Did the Queen pass away? The Queen's doctors are very concerned for her health as she is 96 and some say she is nearing her end. So I'm gonna walk you through her whole life timeline. This is The Rich Life and I'm your host Michaela, and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to help us get to 100,000. But without further ado, let's get started. Princess Elizabeth Alexandra May Windsor was born on April 21st, 1926 at 2:40 a.m. at her parents' home on 17 Burton Street, Mayfair, London. She's the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York, who later became King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. Elizabeth's early years were spent between Piccadilly in London and at White Lodge in Richmond Park. When Her Majesty was 7 years old, her father King George VI brought home Dookie, a Pembrokeshire Welsh Corgi. She immediately fell in love with the breed and is believed to have owned at least 30 Corgis since then. On December 11th, 1936, Elizabeth's father became king when his older brother, King Edward VIII, stepped down. Elizabeth made her first public engagement on her 16th birthday in 1942 by inspecting the soldiers of the Grenadier Guards. Elizabeth, then aged 21, married Philip Mountbatten in Westminster Abbey on November 20th in 1947. Elizabeth gave birth to her first child, Prince Charles, at Buckingham Palace on November 14th, 1948, and Prince Charles then became first in line to the throne. The Queen then gave birth to her second child, Princess Anne, who was born in Clarence House on August 15th, 1950. Following the passing of her father in 1952, Elizabeth's coronation took place in Westminster Abbey in 1953. She was crowned Queen Elizabeth II at age 27 on June 2nd that year. Her third child, Prince Andrew, was then born at Buckingham Palace on February 19th in 1960. At the age of 37, Queen Elizabeth gave birth to her fourth and final child, Prince Edward, at Buckingham Palace on March 10th, 1964. In 1970, during a royal tour of Australia and New Zealand, Queen Elizabeth rebelled against centuries of royal tradition when she took a casual stroll to greet crowds of people in person rather than wave to them from a protected distance. A walkabout is now a regular practice for British royals. On June 2nd, 1977, the Queen's 25 years on the throne was celebrated with Commonwealth visits and a public holiday. Then on June 21st, 1982, Prince William was born to Prince Charles and Diana, Princess of Wales. Although William is the Queen's third grandchild, the line of the succession means that he's second in line to the throne after his father. On August 31st, 1997, the Queen's daughter-in-law Diana, Princess of Wales, passed from the injuries she sustained in a car crash in Paris. Tensions between the royal family and Diana were already tense following her controversial interview with Martin Bashar, and so the Queen was under close security following her passing. The Queen's speech about Diana's passing was broadcasted live on September 5th. We all have felt those emotions in the last few days. So what I say to you now, as your Queen and as a grandmother, I say from the heart, I want to pay tribute to Diana, myself. She was an exceptional and gifted human being, in good times and bad. She never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, to inspire others with her warmth and kindness. I admire and respected her for her energy and commitment to others, especially for her devotion to her two boys. The Queen's younger sister Margaret later passed in 2002 from complications from a stroke. The Queen's mother also passed just over a month later on March 30th. On September 9th, 2015, the Queen became the longest reigning monarch in British history, more than 63 years, surpassing her great-grandmother Queen Victoria. In 2016, Queen Elizabeth celebrated her 90th birthday, and the milestone was marked by a national service of Thanksgiving and a street party of 10,000 people along the mall hosted by the Queen herself. In 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle then announced their intention to step away from the royal duties. Their decision to step back from the roles came as a shock to everyone, including the Queen, who was said to be hurt by the choice. On April 5th of the same year, Queen Elizabeth delivered a special broadcast in relation to the pandemic. In a rare speech, she acknowledged the grief and financial hardships Britons faced during the outbreak. On March 7, 2021, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle did a tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey in the United States, and the following day in the UK it was aired. The couple didn't hold back as they lifted the lid on the life inside the royal family. The royals faced allegations of racism after Harry and Meghan claimed an unnamed member of the family made a comment about how dark their son Archie's skin tone would be. A source told The Sun that the Queen was sad, not angry about the interview. On April 9th last year, the Queen's loving husband of 73 years, Prince Philip, passed at age 99 a few months before his 100th birthday. A statement from Buckingham Palace read, "It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. 30 guests, including the Queen, attended Prince Philip's funeral in St. George Chapel, and the Queen sat alone. The nation held a minute's silence at 3 p.m. to remember him. The royal family was reunited with Prince Harry for the first time since his interview with Oprah. Harry and William were originally expected to walk shoulder to shoulder, but they were separated by their cousin Peter Phillips. Then on October 19, 2021, the Queen hosted a major global investment summit at Windsor Castle ahead of the UN Climate Change Conference. Her Majesty called on nations to work together to beat climate change, saying it was the greatest challenge facing the world. The next day, Queen Elizabeth had to cancel a trip to Northern Ireland at the last minute following advice from her doctors, who told her to rest for a few days. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson said, "Her Majesty is in good spirits and is disappointed that she will no longer be able to visit Northern Ireland, where she had been due to undertake a series of engagements today and tomorrow. The Queen sends her warmest good wishes wishes to the people of Northern Ireland and looks forward to visiting in the future. The Queen was then said to be in good spirits when she left on the morning of October 21st. At the end of that year, the Queen spoke warmly about Prince Philip on her first Christmas without him in 7 decades, saying there was one familiar laugh missing in her home. On the eve of her historic jubilee, the Queen released a message to the public thanking them and also stating her intentions for the future of the crown on February 5th this year. She said in a written message, "I would like to express my thanks to you all for your support. I remain eternally grateful for and humbled by the loyalty and affection that you continue to give me. And when, in fullness of time, my son Charles becomes king, I know you will give him and his wife Camilla the same support that you have given me. And it is my sincerest wish that when that time comes, Camilla will be known as Queen Consort as she continues her own loyal service." Later, on March 6th, Her Majesty decided to leave Buckingham Palace for good and make a permanent move to Windsor Castle. Sources say the Queen enjoyed life with Prince Philip there during the pandemic, and the couple rediscovered the happiness of their early years together during this time. On March 29th, at the memorial of Prince Philip, the Queen showed public support for disgraced son Prince Andrew. It was the first time the Duke of York had appeared alongside the Queen since he settled his US intimate abuse case, paying accuser Virginia Roberts a reported $12 million. And part of the plea deal was the agreement that no formal admission of liability or an apology was owed by the Duke of York. On April 14th, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle visited the Queen in secret before going to the Invictus Games. It marked the first time all three were together since 2020. Her Majesty then marked her 96th birthday at Wood Farm. She celebrated her birthday privately in the wake of her health issues over the previous months. The Queen, of course, has a huge net worth of $530 million and also reportedly gets money from a private estate called the Duchy of Lancaster, which is passed down from monarch to monarch. She also supposedly spends $345 million a year on security. But with all that said, the Queen has recently not been doing very well. She's recently under medical supervision at her Balmoral estate after doctors became concerned for her health. Buckingham Palace says that members of the royal family are now traveling to Scotland to be with the 96-year-old amid health fears. Following further evaluation this morning, the Queen's doctors are concerned for Her Majesty's health and have recommended she remain under medical supervision, reads the statement from Buckingham Palace. The Queen remains comfortable and at Balmoral. The news of the health concerns came after Elizabeth postponed a meeting of senior governmental advisors on Wednesday night, when doctors advised her to rest. Buckingham Palace has cancelled Friday's changing of the guard ceremony amid health fears. Large crowds began to gather in front of the palace after word of the Queen's conditions was made public. The Queen has been largely out of the public eye recently, suffering from mobility issues. She marched 7 decades on the throne this year and has increasingly handed over duties to her heir Charles. Elizabeth skipped a church service honoring her 70 years on the throne in June after experiencing some discomfort. Photos of her in a meeting were released to the public, with alarm immediately raised by what appeared to be dark blue bruises on the Queen's right hand or possible decaying. But that is all. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.